Captain James Walker stood on the bridge of the ESF Resilient, a 30-year-old Earth defense vessel that had seen better days. The ship's worn control panels blinked with warning lights, and the hull groaned with the strain of its recent emergency jump through hyperspace. Status report, Walker commanded, his weathered face illuminated by the red emergency lights. Lieutenant Anna Reed looked up from her console, her expression grim. Not good, sir. We've lost 2 engine cores, weapons are at 40% capacity, and shields are barely holding at 28%. Walker nodded grimly. This wasn't how he planned to spend what should have been his final mission before retirement. The Resilient had been en route to Earth for decommissioning when they'd received the distress call from Colony Omega-7. Communications? He asked. Still nothing from Omega-7, replied Communications Officer Tom Wilson, but we're picking up significant energy signatures ahead. Definitely not human tech. The main view screen flickered to life, revealing a sight that made every crew member freeze. A massive armada of sleek, crystalline vessels hovered around Omega-7's orbital space. The alien ships glowed with an eerie blue light, their hulls unmarked by any visible weapon systems or propulsion units. My God, whispered Chief Engineer Mike Donovan. I count at least 30 ships, each one easily 3 times our size. Walker's jaw tightened. Any sign of Colony Omega-7? Reed shook her head. The colony's defense grid is offline. Life sign readings are inconclusive. They're scanning us, Wilson announced, his voice rising with tension. The alien Armada's formation shifted, several of the massive ships breaking away to approach the Resilient. Options? Walker asked, looking around at his crew. Defense Systems Officer Lisa Taylor spoke up. Sir, we could try to flee, but with our damaged engines, we wouldn't get far. Fighting is, well, suicide, given their numbers and likely technological superiority. Walker considered their predicament. The Resilient was outdated, damaged, and hopelessly outgunned, but this was a human colony under threat, and they were the only Earth ship within light years. Open a channel, he ordered. Wilson worked his console. Channel open, sir. Walker straightened his uniform. This is Captain James Walker of the Earth Defense Ship Resilient. You have entered Earth-controlled space and are orbiting a human colony. State your intentions. For several 10 seconds, there was no response. Then, the view screen changed to show a being unlike anything the crew had ever seen. It appeared to be composed of living crystalline light, with no discernible facial features beyond what might have been eyes, glowing orbs of intense blue energy. Human vessel, the being's voice resonated through the ship's speakers, somehow sounding both melodic and menacing. Your presence is unnecessary. This world has resources we require. Your colony has been harvested. Depart or be eliminated. Walker felt cold fury rising within him. Harvested? There were 5,000 people on that colony. Irrelevant, replied the crystalline being. Your species is primitive. Your vessel is obsolete. You have no standing to challenge the Luminary Collective. Walker muted the transmission and turned to his crew. Options. Real ones. Now. Donovan spoke up first. Captain, when we upgraded the sensor array last year, we kept the old emitters. I could reconfigure them to broadcast on multiple frequencies simultaneously. To what end? Walker asked. Their ship's hulls. Reed interjected, catching on. They're crystalline. If we find the right resonance frequency, we could potentially shatter them, Taylor finished. But we'd need to get much closer, and we'd only get one shot before they realize what we're doing. Walker unmuted the transmission. We request time to prepare our departure. Our engines are damaged. The aliens seem to consider this. You have your Earth hour. Then you will be eliminated. The transmission ended. Hit to work, Walker ordered, and prepare a message buoy with all our data on these luminary. If this doesn't work, Earth needs to know what they're facing. The hour passed in frantic activity. Donovan and his team jury-rigged the old sensor emitters into a makeshift resonance weapon, while Taylor rerouted every scrap of power the ship could generate. It's ready, sir, Donovan reported as their deadline approached, but will need to be inside their formation for maximum effect. Walker nodded. Helm, plot a course straight through their center mass. Maximum thrust on my mark. The bridge crew exchanged glances. This was a suicide run. Sir, Beat began. Walker cut her off. I know, Lieutenant, but those were our people down there. He addressed the entire bridge. Serving with you has been the honor of my life. Now let's show these superior beings what an outdated Earth vessel can do. The Resilient surged forward, its damaged engines straying. The alien armada, seemingly surprised by the direct approach, began to move into attack formation. Energy weapons charging on all alien vessels, Taylor reported. Hold course, Walker commanded. Donovan, prepare the resonance emitter. The first alien shots streaked past the Resilient, several hitting their already weakened shields. Shields at 15%, Reed called out. Almost in range, Wilson reported tensely. The ship shuddered as more hits connected. Shields failing. Walker's eyes remained fixed on the view screen as they plunged into the heart of the alien formation. Now Donovan. Full power. The resonance emitter activated, broadcasting its carefully calculated frequency. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, the closest alien vessel began to vibrate. Fracture lines appeared across its crystalline surface. Seconds later, it shattered into countless glittering fragments. The effect cascaded. Ship after ship began to break apart, the resonance frequency passing from one to another through their formation. It's working, Taylor exclaimed. The Resilient pushed onward, its hull scorched and breached in multiple sections, but still intact enough to carry its crew through the disintegrating alien armada. As they emerged from the other side, Walker ordered a full stop. The view screen showed the aftermath, where once an invincible alien fleet had stood. Now only drifting crystal shards remained. Send the message, boy, Walker ordered quietly. Let Earth know that the Luminary aren't invincible after all. Reed looked up from her console, a small smile forming. Sir, I'm detecting life signs on Omega-7, faint but present. Some of the colonists survived. Walker nodded, allowing himself to return her smile. Well then, it seems the Resilient has one more mission before retirement. An outdated ship, a desperate gamble, and humanity's stubborn refusal to accept defeat, even against the most overwhelming odds.